Hi, welcome to Eureka Archery. My name is Anwar Matsaad, and today's going to be a special video. We'll be reviewing 3 Korean bows at 3 different poundages, and these bows are from Daylite Archery. For today we have the 40, 50 and 60 pounds. So firstly, we have here the Monarch. The Monarch is 53 inches at its 50 pounds draw at 28 inches. After this we'll be revealing all the bows, and here we also have the Majesty at 60 pounds and the Phoenix at 40 pounds. So we'll start with the lighter poundage first. So this is the Phoenix, 40 pounds, 53 inches long, and this is how the bow looks like. So right off the bat, it looks very similar to the Nomad variant from Nomad Archery, and this one here looks almost identical. You have the handle that is much more, I would say, oval shape as opposed to the square shape of Korean bows. However, the arrow pass is thicker than the handle, which is quite uncommon, and the handle feels like suede, and there are suede bindings here, not serving. And what I understand is that this is the entry-level variant of their Korean bows. So let's try to string this up first. Okay, that looks about right. So let's try to string it up. 40 pounds. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll string up the bows first, and we'll leave it raised for a bit. Brace height is very low. Look at that. This is possibly only about 6 inches ish, 6.5 inches, very short. So comparing it to my thumb, the rule of thumb, it's actually quite short. But most Korean bows do have a short brace height. So this is how the bow looks like. This is the Phoenix by Daylite Archery, and we'll put this to the side, and we will try to string up the other one, which is the Majesty, if I'm not mistaken. Right, so for the next bow, we have here the Monarch, 50 pounds at 53 inches length and 28 inch draw length. So we're going to take this out. So this is how the bow looks like. It has again the suede leather on the handle. This one has, it looks more like what we are accustomed to for Korean bows, a squarish handle, and it kind of feels quite good in the hands. It has this very modern looking 3D effect covering. Don't think that is traditional at all, but I guess this is what makes the Daylite brand different than the Kaya or the Nomad variant. So this is how it looks like. You have the same binding on the transitions and also at the string bridge. So let's try to string this up. 50 pounds. Okay, the tips is covered in leather, soft leather. So this is not the right way. We'll try to do it the other way, like that. Yeah, that seems about right. Okay, no twist on it. So let's try to string this one up. Okay, make sure it's balanced. You put the handle behind your knee. Okay, not difficult to string up at all. Okay, make sure that the bow is straight, it's not twisted in any way. This brace height is a bit higher, you notice this, and this is how the bow looks like. Very interesting. It has a shiny gold, bronze, silver, I'm not too sure what color this is, but it has a 3D effect just like those carbon fiber stickers you see on cars and body kits. So let's put it to the side, let it brace for a while. So the last one, we have the Majesty. So this is how the bow looks like. So let's take it out. So this Majesty is rated at 60 pounds, 53 inches in length, and the draw is rated at 28 inches. So as you can see, the curve is a little bit more aggressive You still have the same suede handle here with the leather arrow pass. I'm not sure why they use leather. Why can't they use race skin? Because this will actually wear out after a while. So this is supposed to be the premium bow, the premium version from Daylite Archery. So so far, finishing wise, it looks nice, it looks neat. Let's string it up. Oh, but this is rather interesting. I'm not sure whether you can see it in the camera, but the belly side is a little bit translucent. You can actually see there's like a glass effect where you can see the carbon inside. It looks very nice. It looks translucent, and you can see like there is some depth under the glass. So this is how the bow looks like with this black carbon fiber sticker. It really looks like a car body kit. I'm not really a big fan of this look, but maybe some people will like it. To me, the performance is what matters. Aesthetic can be anything, even if the bow is like blue, brown, green, purple, rainbow colored, I don't mind, as long as it performs well. So this is the Majesty. So a quick recap: we have the Majesty 60 pounds, we have the Monarch 50 pounds, and we have the Phoenix at 40 pounds. So in a bit, we'll try to shoot these bows, and I will see how it performs and which bow is the most suitable for you. Alright, so for the first bow we're going to test, we're going to use the Phoenix 40 pounds, and I've put some tape here because we do intend to sell these bows. And the brace height, again, as I said, is very low, and for 40 pounds I'll be using these 600 spine Taurus carbon arrows. So before we do any shooting, it's always a good idea for you to get a feel of the bow. So I'm just drawing it very little first, anchoring it. So far, not bad. So let's try it with the Taurus 600 spine. And we'll be using the thumb draw first, because that is how Korean bows is intended to be used. And since I'm shooting at only 10 meters, I'll bring the knocking point slightly higher. Okay, so let's try this out. First arrow. So my arrow went all the way to the left, suggesting that it could be too flexible, but let's try this again. Okay, so let's see how it works with the 500 spine. So all these Taurus arrows are uniform. So let's try this. Okay, another 500. Okay, and now the 400. Okay, right, so just now when we tried with the thumb, interestingly, using the 600 spine, the arrow goes a lot to the left. Using the 500, it goes more to the right, and using the 400, it's straight. Now this bow is 40 pounds, so it's a little bit strange, perhaps because of the added width on the arrow window. Usually this is supposed to be smaller, but this one here is thicker. So let's see whether the same thing happens if you're using Mediterranean draw. So let's try this. So with the Mediterranean draw, the 600 works better. So let's try this again with another 600 spine. Yeah. So if you look at the target there, the two arrows is exactly where I placed it, is right next to each other, using the 600 spine. Now let's try using the 500 and see whether the same thing happens. And with the 500 Mediterranean draw left-handed, it is exactly straight. Yep, you can see there, right next to each other at the 6 o'clock mark. Okay, now let's try the 400 spine just to see how it looks like. Okay, you can feel that it's stiffer. Yep, it goes all the way to the right. You can see it there. Everything goes to the right. So, what's the verdict of this bow? So far, using the thumb draw, you will need to use rather stiff arrows, and if you're using Mediterranean draw, then you can use the what we do know as the common reference for arrow spine, 40 pounds, about 500 to 600 spine, and you can actually follow that if you're using Mediterranean draw. However, with the thumb, you will need stiff arrows, at least in my personal experience. So this is the Phoenix. This is how it looks like. Sleek and nice, physically not heavy. The draw is actually very smooth. I've been using the Kaya bow for many years now, but I feel the Phoenix, in terms of performance, for 40 pounds, it actually feels really, really good. This is the draw profile. And there's no movement in the handle. Like some Kaya variants, you can actually feel the handles bending, but this one, you don't feel any bending. No stacking whatsoever. Right, so we have the chronograph here. We're gonna see the speed test for the Phoenix using the 400 spine with 100 grain, with the 75 grain point. So 153.6. Alright, let's try the second arrow. Now, since this chronograph is a bit wonky, I've got to set the unit of measurement first every time I shoot at it. So if any of you knows how to actually set this properly, do let me know. Okay, second arrow. .7. So at 40 pounds, I would say the average speed for this 40-pound bow is about 156 FPS. Now we will try the Monarch by Daylite Archery. This one is 50 pound, the bow length is 53 inches. And after bracing, you can see the brace height has dropped a little bit, suggesting that the string has stretched a bit. So let's try this first with the 500 spine. I wouldn't dare go any lighter than the 500 spine rated for Taurus, so let's try this. I will do the thumb draw first. Okay, 500 spine goes a bit to the left. Try to compensate that. Same place. Now, let's try the 400 spine. Same place. Perhaps the distance is too close to see any changes in the spine, so maybe for this poundage we'll have to go to the 20-meter mark after this. So let's try this one more. Yep. So let's follow me to the target a bit, just very interestingly. Using the 400 spine is there. Using the 500 spine, it's here. So technically it's still the same area. I was aiming here just now. So let's try, just for the fun of it, use the 600 spine to see whether it will go here. Let's try that. Okay. Same place. So does it tell us that it doesn't matter what spine the arrow is, this bow just works? Yeah, you can see it. You can take a look there. The arrows are all in the same area, despite the changes in spine and arrow weight. So now let's try to use my other Taurus with a lighter point. I would believe this will go more to the right. Yep, exactly to the bullseye. Yep. So with this bow, 400 spine with a 75 grain point, then your arrow will be straight, straight, straight. Exactly at the bullseye. Let's take a look together. So you can see this is my custom Taurus arrows with a lighter grain point. Without much work, you're able to group it this way. This was the first arrow, very easy to get it straight. This was the 400 but with a heavier point. Someone is overcompensating for their car there, if you can hear it. So this is 500 spine and this is 600 spine. Very interesting. And the feeling feels really good. No stacking, very smooth to draw. I'm actually very impressed with this one. Although aesthetically, I'm not a big fan of this carbon fiber sticker, but performance-wise, very surprising. This Monarch is very, very surprising. So let's retrieve these arrows and I will do another one using the 3 fingers on the left hand. Right, so we'll try the Monarch 50 pound at 28 inches, bow length 53 inches, trying it out with the Taurus 500 spine. Okay, 3 fingers left-handed. Straight to the yellow. Straight to the yellow again. We'll try the modified 400 spine Taurus. Maybe slightly higher. Yep. Okay, that one's a bit off. I think that particular arrow was off because even in the previous attempt it goes a lot to the right. So let's try this one. Original Taurus 400 spine. Yep. So even with the heavier point, it still groups very nicely. Very nice. Okay, and we still have this one more modified Taurus. Very nice. Right, you can just take a look there. All the arrows either in the yellow or in the red, different spines, everything in there. So what do I think about this Monarch at 50 pound? It draws very comfortably, very nice, no stacks, some movement in the handle. When you shoot it, if you use the right arrows, you won't get vibrations, no stacking whatsoever. It's a lot smoother than the Kaya variants, the Kaya Firefox or the Black Cat or the Black K. I think this bow can actually surpass that in terms of performance. Yep, straight to the bullseye. We'll just finish these 2 more arrows. These are 400 spine, heavier arrows. With the heavier arrows, no hand shock whatsoever. Everything is transferred to the arrow. Very nice. And last arrow. This is the Monarch. Comparing it to the Phoenix, I think I like this one better. The grip is more reminiscent to a traditional Korean bow as opposed to the Phoenix. After we try out the last bow, we'll show all 3 bows side by side. Right, so now we're gonna try the Monarch. So behind me there, that's Azro. That's the guy who bought the bows earlier on. So we'll try this, 50 pounds, same arrows. So let's hope the chronograph does not act up. Yep, it acts up. So just now the chronograph was a bit acting up, so we've reset it. Let's hope it works. 175.5 at 26 inches draw. So now let's try to push this to 28. Okay, it resets it. We got 170 plus just now. So let's try this again. 177.3. So far sufficient for traditional archery games at 50 pounds. That is actually quite impressive. 186.4. Take a look. So one more. Okay, that one actually hit on the side. 161. It actually hit on the side of the antennas. So let me retrieve that really quickly. Let's try to do this again, see how far we can go with it. Let's try this one more time. I think we can go a lot faster. 190. Look at that. And the arrow went through the target. $189. Again, went through the target. $189. I purposely draw that at 27.5 inches about, so you can still see the little knock of the arrow on the target butt. So just to tell you that I am actually shooting towards the target. So 2 arrows actually went, yeah, it's actually over there. And that's how far it went after slicing through the target. So this is fast. The Monarch is definitely really fast. It could be my next favorite bow. But before we go to that conclusion, let's try out the Majesty. This is the Majesty. It says here Majesty Premium Bow Edition, 53 inches length, 60 pound at 28 inches, made in Korea. So let's try to draw it first. Okay. So far so good. Let's try to shoot. So as always, thumb first with the 500 spine. Okay. Didn't dare to full draw it just now because of the arrow spine and weight, but let's try to draw it more. So drawing it more, the arrow will go more to the right. Somehow 500 spine is a little bit too flexible for the bow. So let's try 400. We'll try the longer Atmos arrows first. Okay, Atmos performs better because of the heaviness of the shaft and the arrow points installed, as well as the length of it. Not very easy to control it yet, for me at least. Alright, still so good, so far so good. 2 more arrows, the Taurus 400 spine, the original setting. Yep. So the original Taurus 400 spine works better for this particular bow. Yep, exactly. So I'm going to retrieve that, we'll try this again. Okay, let's try this again. I'm not satisfied with how I was shooting just now, so I'll try this again with a little bit more consistency. So at 500, as predicted, the arrow is too flexible. Yep, and that one went through the target butt. Let's try the Atmos 400 spine. This one is 33 grams. Yeah, 400 spine is the spine for this particular bow at 60 pounds. Arrow flies straighter. There is less fishtailing due to the archer's paradox. Okay. After this, we'll try 3 fingers like usual, and we'll give you our final verdict of all 3 bows from Daylite Archery. Okay, back to the Taurus original spec for 400 spine. Yep. So if you are planning to get this bow at this poundage, I would recommend the Taurus carbon arrows. Exactly at the bull's eye. So we'll try 3 fingers after this. Again, final verdict after that. Right, so 3 fingers. We'll start with the 500 spine Taurus first. Okay, 500 spine, 3 fingers, arrow flies straight. I'm a bit concerned about drawing this bow to the full extent after what has happened to my friend, but with the 500 spine, 3 fingers left-handed, it works better. Let's try the 400 ECMOS, heavier arrows. Works about the same. Yep. So, and the original Taurus configuration. Much better. Yep, straight to the bullseye. So, this is the Majesty 60 pounds. This is how the bow looks like. The draw profile. .191.6. So let's try to pull it a bit more. 198.8. Let's try to reach the 200 mark. 194.3. Let's try this one more time and see whether we can get to the magic number of 200 feet per second. .198.8. .201.7. Last arrow. So yep, as we predicted, it does go beyond 200 FPS. 201.7 again, consistent. So, fast bows. So again, the Majesty Premium Bow Edition definitely has premium performance. Out of the 3 bow, this bow is the fastest. Of course, it's 60 pounds. But in my personal opinion, all 3 bows are good performance. And from the shooting test and everything, we can conclude that these bows are really good, and it is worth the money that you'll be spending for a Korean bow in traditional archery. Right, so these are the 3 bows that we have tried out today. We have tested the Phoenix. This is the bow. Look at that. 40 pounds. I think it also comes all the way to 60 pounds. This is the entry model. And then you also have the Monarch. This is my personal favorite. Feels really good in the hands, draws very comfortably, and the arrow is really fast. And finally, you have the Majesty. So what do I think about all 3 bows? If you're just starting out, yeah, you're on a bit on a budget, I would recommend the Phoenix right here. Now, the Phoenix is good for beginners, for someone who has no experience in traditional archery, or if you have not owned a Korean bow yet. I do know there's a lot of you in Malaysia who actually uses the Kaya bow. I would say this would be the same level as the Kaya. However, this feels a little bit more solid, and the covering on the back here seems to be of a higher quality compared to the Kaya. Sorry Kaya, I do like Kaya, but from the factual point of view, this is a good bow for beginners. Moving on, if you actually own a Kaya bow already, or a Freddy Nomad bow already, then perhaps you should consider the Monarch. This is the more premium version. It feels really good, although at 50 pounds the arrow travels really fast. Personally, I don't really like the shiny look here, but to some of you maybe this is what you're looking for, or this is what you like. This would be the bow if you already own a Korean bow. Ultimately, if you really like Korean style of bows and you already have the Kaya and you want to upgrade from your existing bow, then look no further than the Majesty. It feels heavier, it feels premium, drawing it is comfortable, 60 pounds, and there is no stacking. You can actually draw this, if I'm not mistaken, up to 30, 31. However, the bowyer did mention 28 is safe, so this is how the bow looks like. So all three bows looks like that. You can see, these are the collection from Daylite Archery. The red tape here does not come with the bow. I actually put this here so that I don't damage the bow, and I do intend to sell all three bows. There's a 40, 50 and 60, and if it all goes well, we do intend to bring in this brand of bows so that Malaysian archers here can buy it from us. Daylite Archery, either the Phoenix, the Majesty or the Monarch. So again, here are the three bows. Beautiful Korean bows, 53 inches in length. Could be my new or my next favorite bow brand. So if you'd like to know more information about this bows, head on over to Eureka Archery. We have a website, eurekaarchery.com. We are also on Facebook, on YouTube and on Instagram. Till next time, my name is Anwar Matsa'at, and remember, be an archer today.